All right, John, we talk about fighters all the time and the fact that, they're not going for the finish in the fight. It's incredible that in your 22 professional fights, you've only gone to the judges' scorecards one time. I did that fight. That fight was you against Costello Vanstinas. So do you have a specific mindset about always trying to finish the fight? What is it that sets you in that mode that you do not ever really go to the judges?
I think a lot of it is training. When I grapple, I don't let people, my partners get out of a round without submitting them if there's any way possible. I don't just get on top and control. Same thing when I'm sparring. I want to try and set up my positions where I could potentially finish. I just think that way all the time. And I think the other thing is, as I've fought longer and longer, I've gotten a lot better at staying calm and waiting for finishes to bring it, to give me opportunities rather than trying to force it. I think that's where people will make a lot of mistakes, is trying to force finishes. And I think I kind of just let it come to me, and that's helped a lot as I've fought better and better opponents.
The two of you, and Gegard and yourself, you guys have one loss between the two of you guys, and it just so happens to be the same person, to Rafael Lovato Jr., who was the former champion. Do you take anything away from the fact that from your loss, you were dominating the fight and then made a mistake in the third round that cost you the fight, whereas Gegard was being dominated for the first 3 rounds, 2.5 rounds, until he was able to kind of get his wits back about him, but then he faded in the 5th round. Do you take anything away from that?
Yeah, obviously I want to take that as a positive that, coming out fresh, I'm going to be the better fighter. I'm going to put the pressure that Lovato was able to put on him, because I feel like I was able to do that to Lovato early. And the other thing that I think that Lovato fight was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it showed me the dangers of not being prepared late in the fight, and I think I've really made big strides to make sure that doesn't happen again. And, I get to show that this weekend. But ever since they fought, I felt that fight shows that I can win this fight and that I'm the better fighter than Gegard is, especially early in the fight.
John, I know there's all kinds of things that motivate fighters, and when you get this championship fight, that's a huge motivator. That's that thing that everyone is searching for throughout their career, and now you have it. But you also have it right off of the timing of the birth of your first child. What does that mean to you? And talk a little bit about what you're feeling.
It's amazing. Having a daughter has just been great. And I know everybody out there with kids just goes, oh, yeah, we know what you're talking about. But until you have one, you don't know. And I think it really means a lot, especially later in my career, that, everything I do here just sets up my future with her after fighting, and it's kind of, I guess, made me look forward more to the day when I have more time to spend with her. And that means, these next couple of years, I've really got to win a lot of fights and make sure that, I can step away from fighting at a time when I can really spend a lot of time with her.
You're 36 years old. You had fought Rafael Lovato Jr. You came up short though, but then now do you look at this as like a redemption situation, where do you feel like that mentally you weren't ready then, and then now you're mentally, now that this has prepared you enough to go ahead and capture the title now?
Yeah, absolutely. I really needed that loss to Lovato. I moved to Wilmington in 2015, and I was kind of running my own camps. I had a boxing coach, but other than that, I pretty much ran everything myself. And, coming off that loss to Lovato, seeing what he was doing to prep for fights really led me to say, I've got to do something different. I can't do this myself anymore, which I should have never thought that was something I could do in the first place. But that's when I got hooked up with Jim O and Jeff Jimmo here in Charlotte. And I think that's really made a difference. And, this is definitely my opportunity to go get the title, and it couldn't have come at a better time, because now I've got the whole team around me that I need.
You're talking about, that perfect time, and almost, I'm looking at this almost like a legacy fight. When you're fighting a guy like Gegard Mousasi, a guy with so much experience, all the fights that he's had, he's fought at heavyweight, he's fought at light heavyweight, he's the middleweight champion here. He has, so many different titles. What does it mean to you to be able to have this fight against a guy like him?
Well, like we said earlier, I've kind of flown under the radar. With 18 wins, 17 finishes, I'm not as well known as I feel like a lot of people that I'm better than are. So I think this is my opportunity to really show what level I am and to prove that I belong there with the top guys in the world and to be the world champ.
So Rafael Lovato Jr. was able to control Gegard with his jiu-jitsu and his top pressure. He had kind of a hard time getting him down, but when he did get him down, he mounted him. He was able to do all the things. Your jiu-jitsu is right there. It's right underneath or right there with Rafael Lovato Jr.'s, but your wrestling, though, is leaps and bounds better than Rafael Lovato Jr.'s. So does that give you a lot of confidence knowing that Gegard was able to get taken down and dominated from the top position by him, knowing that your wrestling is better and the chances of getting that takedown will be a lot more likely, and the top pressure and control that you possess will definitely play a factor in controlling Gegard from the top position?
Yeah, I know, styles make fights and styles work out, different ways. But I do think that I am the better wrestler, and that's going to really change the way Gegard's got to fight me. He can't just come after me because he knows I can put him on his back when I'm ready. And I'm not just a lay and pray wrestler that's going to hold on to him and not threaten on the ground. And, I'm not a guy that's going to make mistakes and let him stiff arm me off. I'm going to keep the pressure on him when we're there. So I do think that makes, a big difference for him. And the way he's been able to walk a lot of people down, he's not going to go do that to me.
Before COVID hit, you had a fight, and it was against one of Gegard's teammates in Costello Vanstinas, and you were able to really control the position of the fight, the pace of the fight during the first 2 rounds. And in the 3rd round, he was coming on. What did that fight teach you? What did it do for you in thinking, well, you know what? That's a teammate of Gegard's. I learned this from that, and it's not going to happen with him.
I think at the time I was kind of playing around with some different types of cardios, and I don't think that it was what worked for me. Number one, I faded bad in that 3rd round. But another thing that, a lot of people didn't notice in that fight is how hard I got hit about 45 seconds into that fight.
I noticed.
And, the entire fight, I was in desperation mode because I got hit so hard in the beginning. And, that's something that I've got to be more prepared for is getting caught early, having to come back and have the legs back under me. And, another thing that fight really taught me was I'm not a guy that can come in. I train all the time. So I used to say, okay, it takes me 6 weeks to get in shape for a fight. I'm in shape at the beginning of training camp. But now, that fight also taught me I'm not that guy. I've got to be the guy that cardios year round. And so I think, I learned a lot from that one. And I think that's really going to change the fighter that I am.
Well, you said styles make fights, and I couldn't agree with you more. But Costello Vanstinas is nothing like Gegard Mousasi in terms of the way the way that they fight. Their output is completely different. Vanstinas will come forward. He will press the pace. He will do things that is kind of careless. Whereas Gegard is someone who has been through the ringer. He's fought at heavyweight, light heavyweight. He was the light heavyweight champ for Strikeforce. He was the middleweight champ for Bellator. He's fought a lot of the best guys in the world. He fights more of a conservative style fight, as we've seen when he fought Douglas Lima. He fought very slow pace. He's very controlled. Now, knowing that the two of them are different, but they're teammates, have you taken anything away on how you would fight him versus how you fought Costello Vanstinas?
I've got to fight my style, number one. And, they're completely different. I don't really, even them being teammates, take that as one of them equaling the other or having anything in common because they are so different. I did learn a lot from the Costello fight, and I think I'm a different fighter because of it. But, the thing that Gegard does so well is he pulls you into his fight pace, and you cannot beat him at his fight pace. He does that to so many people. And that's where you see, with Rory McDonald and with Douglas Lima, it's almost like they're not fighting back because they're getting sucked into his pace, whereas Costello is just shot out of a cannon every round. So that's the thing I got to really focus on this fight is I've got to fight my pace and not get sucked into Gegard's fight, which he seems to do to everybody, is just pull them right into what he wants to do.
Throughout your career, John, you've always been super respectful to everyone, and so is Gegard. He's incredibly respectful to all of his opponents. As you prepare for the last week before this fight, what if you have any, what would be your message to Gegard Mousasi?
I don't know that I really have a message for him because, we're going to do that in the cage. I think my message to everybody else out there is that I belong there next Friday night. This isn't just, we need somebody else to fight. This is, I've earned this. I've done what it takes. Even times when I thought I've had it in the past, thought I had a title shot in the past and I didn't, just kept going forward. And now this is the time that I've earned my time to fight for the title. So I just want everybody out there to know that I'm coming to fight and I'm coming to get that title.
You said it yourself, in 18 of your wins, 17 of them have been finishes, and you're 36 years old. Do you look at it like this is potentially your last chance at being a world champion?
I think I have to look at that every fight that way. This is my last chance to do this, and you never know what's going to happen in the future, but I'm guaranteed to get to fight for the title on Friday night. There's no guarantees after that. So, everything that I'm doing right now is with the intent that I will never get this opportunity again.
John Salter, go ahead.
Are you done, John?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask, when you look at Gegard, what exactly do you see in terms of threats that he potentially possesses in your style of game?
Obviously, his jabs, we can go through everything he does well. He jabs so well. That jab leg kick keeps people off balance. He's all of his striking's crisp. It's long. It's fast. He's good on the ground. He's got a great butterfly guard and getting back up. But I still think the number one thing that he does is pull people into his fight. And if you look at him, since he's been in Bellator, 2 people have gone up there and gone after him to win, and that was Lovato and Shlemenko. Everybody else got pulled into his fight, got stuck there just fighting his game, and he just picks them apart, and I can't do that. I've got to go out there to go after him and not let him settle into, his rhythm, because once he gets into his rhythm, he's almost unbeatable.
There's a lot of people, a lot of critics, media and some critics that were out there basically saying that after he had such a close fight with Douglas Lima, in terms of basically had to be carried out of the cage, that he's kind of losing a step, or that he's just not the same fighter in terms of the motivation may not be there. Did you read anything into that?
No, I mean, it'd be great, but I don't expect it. I expect him to come out there to, just cement his legacy. I mean, I don't think you stop being hungry just because you get a title, So I expect the best Gegard Mousasi there's ever been, and I've got to be the best John Salter there's ever been.